my good friend Melanie Beckler. And we're real friends in real life. And today we're going to be in real life. And we're going to be talking about how to heighten your psychic abilities with connecting with spiritual beings. So this is angels, guides. How do we heighten this connection and this communication? This is one of your foremost specialties, and you do in your personal life so much because we talk about this.
Yes.
So it's really fun. And firstly, I want to say, how do spiritual beings really connect? How do they connect so that we know how to enhance ourselves to make that connection with them?
Yeah, that's a great question, because there's different ways of looking at spiritual beings, but the way I see it is they're always kind of around, but they are in a different dimensional plane of existence.
Yeah.
So in order to tune into their guidance that's always there and always flowing, we have to dial in our frequency. And you've probably heard it. It's the most obvious and basic analogy, but it's like a radio. So your guides and angels or your star family are broadcasting and they're on 99.9, but 3D reality is on 33.3.
Yeah.
So if you're not consciously going in to change your frequency, you can totally miss the message and miss the downloads and miss the guidance and all that's available. So to change your frequency, the biggest way I've found is to go within. And through your different subtle sense organs, through your third eye, through your heart, through your will center, there's different levels and layers of connection, but really the biggest core thing is to go within and become still and silent, because your mind is at that lower frequency. So when you quiet your mind, you can then open up to that higher stream of higher consciousness. We're talking from a place of ordinary consciousness.
Yes.
Ordinary consciousness. So going in, I can elevate my consciousness, tune in receptivity to the angels, to star beings. But interestingly then, if I immediately ask a question and engage my ordinary consciousness, it becomes harder to connect.
Yes.
So that stillness, I think, is one of the biggest things to establish that connection, and letting it build before then engaging a dialogue for more of that transmission and guidance to come in.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stillness is so key. And I think that in a lot of conversations, or people still think that it's going to be all of a sudden this voice of God in their ear, which sometimes happens, which is awesome, and you're going to get that message. But the messages can come through in different ways, right? Where it's this soul impulse, of the will. Do you want to talk a little bit about how the communications come through?
Yeah.
For us as humans?
Yeah, so I even mentioned 3 of the major centers in our physical body are head, heart, and then different traditions either call it hands or sacral chakra or your willpower center.
Yeah.
But it is those 3 centers.
Yeah.
And so through those, angels or star beings or guides connect on different levels.
Yeah.
There could be the impulse of a thought, of just something popping into your mind of, I think I should do this. So thinking, you could get an impulse of feeling uplifted is a really strong way that you could start noticing if benevolent spiritual beings are influencing you.
Yes.
Is this wash of warmth and presence, and then just those gut feelings of I should or shouldn't, yes or no, through that feeling sense.
Yes.
And then of course the impulse to action is another way, where you're just inspired to take some action but don't necessarily know why or how. That can often be the influence of spiritual beings triggering you to get back in alignment with your path, which is the highest, most benevolent spiritual beings of the middle path of the highest Christed light are of course beneficially guiding us.
Yes.
But then there are beings who don't necessarily have your best interest in mind.
Yeah.
And that's where I think this whole conversation is really so important, because a lot of people are I don't want to open my third eye because I'm afraid of what I'll see.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, if there's robbers in the neighborhood, do you want lights on and lights showing what's there, or do you want to be oblivious to what's there?
Totally.
So by opening your psychic senses, you can know if there's some sort of threat or danger to be able to shield and protect, or just to know this isn't a being I want to take advice from. I love you, Aunt Mildred, but I'm not going to take your advice. Don't actually have a net Mildred. But yeah, being aware of how you're being influenced by spiritual beings so you can know if their guidance is actually in alignment with your divine I am presence and core truth, or if they're messing with you as tricksters.
Totally. And by nature of being scared of it would mean that you're more prey to it. And I think addressing it more in this conscious illumination of, if I'm aware, then I can do something about it. I can shift through these things. And being a warrior ready to look at what is going to come up and know that you can face it. So having that empowered energy. And I love what you're saying about these different subtle energies and tuning in not on just the conscious mind level. That's not where they're always connecting. And for me, in between spaces, so when falling asleep, what's dream time saying, what's happening right when I'm waking up, those times are super, super potent to connect with different spiritual beings, because you're not super in your head. You're in that different level of consciousness where you can connect and receive messages or receive upgrades. For me, that's a really nice time. And of course, meditation is one of those times as well. So those subtle spaces where you're in a more altered space is a great time for communication.
Before you're going to sleep, you're naturally transitioning from ordinary mental consciousness into a subconscious, into a dream world state.
Yes.
And there are those openings that you can, there's actually, and I need to get on this, but there's actually practices that you can do of just really being aware when you're falling asleep, really being present, consciously catching yourself if you're rewinding thoughts, if you're projecting about the future, and just really being still and present to pay attention to what arises during that, because that is one of the times when angels know they can kind of reach you, because your frequency is more attuned. And then that also brings that, you mentioned meditation. I think that meditation is just, there's no replacement for it. If you want to heighten your psychic abilities, if you want to progress on your spiritual awakening path, if you want to connect with higher beings.
And she walks the walk. She does it. She does her meditation. So do you want to speak a little bit of particular practices that can help heighten those psychic abilities?
I do. So the first one is regularity with whatever practice you're doing, even if it's like a guided meditation every day. If you do that at a similar time every day, there's like this power and rhythm and momentum to then where that time builds up this special energy. Yeah. But then the other thing that it does is, a lot of times, at least in the angel space, people talk about angels, of like, our angels are always with us and you can just ask and they hear you and guide you. And that's true, but they can't always clearly get through to you.
Yeah, are you available? Is your phone on airplane mode?
Exactly. Yeah. So with that regularity, they know when they can reach you. And so I've noticed this a lot. I do a morning meditation practice every day and an afternoon meditation practice. And the more I've done that with the momentum, the angels are like there. So I go in to meditate and they're able to pour and channel their frequencies and light through me because they know they can reach me at that time. So regularity is super key.
Nice.
Okay.
I love
Number
this.
2.
This is great.
Okay, so then to a meditation to open your psychic abilities, I think that there's really no substitute to awakening the third eye. Like, if the goal is to open your psychic abilities. The meditation I like to do for that is just sitting in silence and tuning in to that space in the center of your forehead, your third eye, and just breathing into that space, and then just tuning into whatever feeling, whether it's vibration or pressure, or it's a little bit different for everyone, which is why I don't like to say tune into that tingly feeling, because for you it might be like a density, but just tune into that something and keep breathing into it, going deeper and deeper into it, moving in. The third eye is the entrance point into your inner world. So when you enter into the third eye, you're moving in, and then it opens up. And then just allowing yourself to expand into that, allowing your third eye to blossom. There's that's that's infinite in and of itself. There's so much there just meditating on that center.
Yes.
But then the next level is tying it to your open heart, so that you infuse that third eye space with the warmth of your heart center.
Yes.
Which then we touched on trickster beings or lower beings. I think the best antidote to those types of beings is warmth in your heart.
Yes.
That golden crystalline light, Christ light, love, compassion, that beautiful energy that repels lower density beings that want to like play manipulation games. So tying your third eye and your heart and just being in that warmth and open space, that in and of itself will blossom your psychic abilities.
Yes.
But then I know for a lot of people, it's like, well, I don't have time to meditate every day. And then to that, just being aware.
I was like, what are you going to say to this? I'm interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So know that there's no replacement for meditation.
Right.
But there are things that you can do in day-to-day life to attune your frequency to spiritual beings. And so for that, I feel like tuning into subtle energies throughout your day.
Yes.
There's different levels of how our soul manifests in our physical body. The astral level is like what we're beginning to open to when we're perceiving through the third eye. But then there's the etheric level, which is like the prana, life force energy. You've shared all kinds of ways to like build that up. So if you start looking for that, start seeing if you can tune into the life force energy in the plant and like feeling that vibration of the plant and how it feels different from your wall or how it feels different from the plastic cup on your counter. That can attune your sensitivity. Also, like if you're a parent, tuning into the energy of kids, they have this super strong etheric energy, and then comparing how their energy feels different to your grandfather. And like just those little awareness points of the different subtlety can really work wonders to helping your awareness blossom. So do that in addition to meditation, not as
I like that.
Not as a substitute.
Yeah, but it is a good start. And I think that even if people just brought more awareness and they don't have time for the meditation, that will start to attune them to create space for it in a way.
Yeah,
you know?
Right. Yeah, it creates that opening.
Exactly.
Because I think a lot of people don't have time for meditation because it feels like work and it feels like a drag.
Yes.
But then being able to push through that to then where you're meditating and you're having spiritual beings pour light frequency through you and you're seeing beautiful things, like
it's awesome.
Not a drag.
Yeah.
It's not a drag at all.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Right.
And then one of the things I noticed and why I don't have a problem with regularity is now if I don't meditate in the morning, in the day, I'm like, there's just this certain something missing.
Yes.
There's like this magic missing because I didn't have that like replenishment to start the day.
Yes. I think that the space of being worthy to receive all of that goodness, as well as sometimes when someone hasn't sat or haven't sat for a long time, then all that compiled energy of not stopping then hits you in the face and you're faced with certain things to look at in yourself. So that hasn't moved through yet before, and so that the angel goodness can come through. So throughout the day, putting like a hand on your heart and your belly and just taking a few deep breaths. So staying conscious in your body, in the moment with whatever's going on. And I think starting to tune into yourself and tune into the other energies around you throughout the day can be a really great way to start to build that momentum towards connection with yourself and with spiritual beings, and then also build that momentum of tuning in so that you don't have to be faced with it, right before you're falling asleep and all the thoughts are going, or when you sit down to meditate and you're going, oh man, this is just, all the stuff's coming up now.
Yeah. Which is, if you're new to meditation, that's a normal phase. You're not doing it wrong. Like, if you're new to meditation, it starts off and this thought comes up and then you let it go. And then another thought comes up and you let it go. Still in my meditations, I have days where thoughts are coming up and instead of getting attached to them, just release them. And like, that is meditation.
Yes.
I think a lot of people think it's about sitting in a cave completely still for 4 hours, but it's like, it's the practice of returning to stillness.
Yes.
that's where you get the benefit. So even if it is feeling like work for you, that returning to stillness, returning to presence throughout your day. We just made the video on my channel about breaking free from the matrix.
Yeah.
And I feel like that ties in as well. When you were talking, I was just, it popped into my awareness about how thought patterns and belief patterns may be the biggest thing that's blocking you from having deep psychic experiences. It's just that belief of I'm not that, or they have something special that I don't. But by really becoming present, dropping those beliefs and insecurities, then that opening within can naturally emerge, because ultimately everyone has the same direct link to source, to the infinite, to the all, to guides. It's just, is that pathway paved and open? And
are you willing to show up and receive?
Are you willing
from it?
to show up?
Yes.
Yeah. And observing, taking a step back in perspective to observe your thoughts, to observe, are you in this pattern of thought, or are you present? Are you in a state of love, or are you reacting to things? And the more, like, mindfulness, like, I think that's an essential thing for psychic ability. If you're thought to thought to thought, you're missing those subtleties of impressions from spirit. That if you're really present in the moment, in your body, I'm aware that I'm washing the dishes. Just even in that, in washing the dishes, there's like the magic of the water elemental. There's like the process of cleaning out old energies. There's so much magic in every moment. It just takes awareness to tune into it and letting that flow through for you. So
I love it.
Yeah. Psychic ability.
So good. Any other last tips to enhance, to activate people's psychic ability?
Yeah, the last tips I would have for enhancing your psychic ability are, one, if you want to become more psychic, let that be an intention. And
nice. I like that.
Whether that's putting it into writing as in affirmations, this is something that I did early on in my journey of writing out, I am profoundly clairvoyant. I clearly hear and see the guidance of my angels. In training your subconscious mind with that helps create that opening. Along those lines then is ask your team for help. Ask your angels, help me to open my psychic abilities. If you're struggling with meditation, before your morning meditation, call in star family, angels, guides, like help this to be a profound meditation for me, help me to open my psychic abilities. Their guidance is available, but they won't always intervene without permission.
Yes.
So ask.
Yes.
And then there was one more. Do I remember what it was? Final tip for opening your psychic abilities. Oh, this is a good one.
Okay.
Like, let it be playful.
Oh, nice.
Don't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
That levity and joy is the vibration of higher spiritual beings, is the vibration of angels. So, like, I know in my experience, if I get too serious and I'm like, okay, I'm really gonna try to make this happen, doesn't happen.
It closes down everything. It constricts it so it can't actually flow. And then you're not the vibration of them either.
Yeah. So it's really like relaxing, allowing, letting it be playful. I do think space has a big role as well. Bridget's space is amazing if you haven't been here. Yes. Which you probably haven't. It's like thinking about it. You've been here though on video.
Yeah.
But that sacred space in which you tune in, and so in doing a daily meditation practice, meditate in the same space, and you sort of build up and anchor this energy there where spirit can connect with you, but it's more that like it's your subconscious mind allows more of that in.
Yes.
And that's even why I like things like oracle cards or pendulums or I Ching or runes to open psychic ability, because it's this tool. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's not like the cards are in and of themselves magic, but when you use cards, it creates this opening in your subconscious mind. So your mind's like, okay, I'm going to receive guidance because I'm holding these things.
Totally.
So that meditation in and of itself can be that, okay, because I'm meditating, I'm going to now receive guidance. That was a lot for one last thing.
A lot of good stuff, though. You couldn't miss any of those. Those are really all important and essential.
There's lots of intricacies, but ultimately, if your heart is in the right place.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a massive final piece too. Oh my gosh, there's a lot to this.
This is good.
And we've talked about this as well. So in the Rosicrucian initiation lineage, one of their key sayings or phrases is, any knowledge and powers gained on the path will be put to the service of others. So check in with yourself. Why do you want to become more psychic? Is it to look cool? Is it to gain personal power? Is it for a selfish reason? If so, there may be bigger boulders and blocks on your path.
100%. And I have a little story to that.
Okay, cool.
Which is in Sedona parties, sometimes people just all of a sudden think that you're going to be psychic for them. Like, it's like, so what are you feeling right now? Like, I don't know. It's not one of those things that, say, is on all the time. Maybe it is, but the idea of relevancy.
Yeah.
Like, is it relevant to bring through this information right now in service of something else? And for me, I think psychic abilities really are key tuned into that. Because when we think psychic abilities, I think we think this crazy power, and it is more connected in a way, I think, culturally to darkness, or like witches that have these like abilities that are there at any time. And it's when it's of service, then it comes when it needs to.
Yeah.
And when it's really relevant, and allowing it to do that, and trusting that process with yourself, with your higher self, with the guidance, and not just needing to be on all the time, and knowing why you're also bringing it forth.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't have to be like direct. You have to be a psychic reader in service of others to open your psychic abilities. And an intention I like to say is just help me to fully open to my highest truth so I can be of service in a higher way.
Yeah.
For you, it could be like receiving
inspiration.
Yeah, receiving guidance or
Yeah.
inspiration about how you can just step into your highest truth and fullest light, whatever that could be.
Exactly.
Building playground equipment, like it doesn't have to be making YouTube videos.
Yes, which is what we talked about in the video that we just did on your channel, which you should go check out. Link will be down there. But that your own uniqueness is essential.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, yeah, I'm a psychic reader. You know, it's like, no, it can look like many different things, and how it comes through you, which will come through when you're connecting with your higher guidance and connecting with yourself, will be that clean energy that is needed of service for the planet. So that uniqueness is really key.
And that brings up the point of how your psychic abilities manifest. We actually haven't talked too much about like how we perceive things psychically, but I imagine that it's very different.
Well, we know that we are going to call each other.
Yeah.
We do that.
We actually have this telepathic link.
We do. It's like,
fun.
Melanie's calling. Okay, yeah.
But don't expect, like, expectation I think can be one of the biggest blocks to psychic opening. If you expect visuals and visions and clairvoyance to appear a certain way, especially at first, it's probably going to be much more subtle.
Yes.
And so that's when, like, even in that third eye meditation, it's like, just tune into something. What do you feel? How does psychic ability open for you? And go with it. If you get hunches, really start listening to those hunches, because in building the skill you already have as a strength, then that can help the others emerge. And I think in the spiritual community today, like, clairvoyance and visions is the desire.
Thing. Yes.
Yeah. But if you feel angels and you're like not honoring that, and you're like, but I want to see them, this isn't working.
Yes.
You're missing out, because like the feeling sense has these layers and nuances where you're seeing through feeling. It's all very subtle, perceiving in the higher realms. So just allow it to emerge for you. Let yourself be surprised rather than look for it to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's a mystery. Connecting with spirit, connecting with spirituality is a mystery. So of course the process is a bit mysterious.
Definitely.
It's not like navigating the 3D world. It is navigating a higher state of consciousness, so it operates differently.
I like that.
But it is magic.
It sure is. And I like what you were just saying about acknowledging the gifts or the ways that it comes through for you. Mm-hmm. If you do that and you acknowledge what is already working, then it can expand into these other realms. But if you're like, no clairsentience, no, like these other things, I want this certain experience, it will take longer. Like if you enhance those other ones, it creates this momentum of flow, which can open the other ones that you're wanting to cultivate.
And like for me now, I am very visual, but that was not strong for me at first.
Same.
Really?
No,
okay.
Not at all.
But I would feel, and I could like feel the presence of spiritual beings.
Yes.
I could feel information about people. And that's what I mean in deeply exploring that. Like I could feel if someone had an entity in their field. I didn't need to see it.
Yes.
So don't block the gift that's trying to emerge, wishing your gift came in another way.
Yes.
Because you're unique. Like
Yeah.
That unique expression of each of us.
Yes. I love it. There's so much in this. This is so rich. I thank you so much for being here. And be sure to go check out her channel. She's got all kinds of incredible stuff and channeled meditations and so much really good information going into the nuances that she's talking about, that she generally spoke about in this video. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Fun to co-create.
Definitely. So thanks, everyone. I hope that you have a wonderful day and connect with spirit in your own unique way. Bye, everyone.